Hello and welcome to FatbossTV.
Hello.
Today we're bringing you guys another 5-man instance on the Warlords of Draenor beta. We are looking at Skyreach.
Yes, Skyreach. It's a very, very cool looking instance. It's like set in the Spires of Arak, and like throughout the whole instance you can pretty much see the whole of the zone. Like you get to see all the spires coming out of the ground and all the jungle underneath. It's a really nice looking instance.
So the instance, not only looking amazing, is targeted for level 97s. We are actually level 100, we've just been scaled down. And the instance consists of 4 different bosses. And in terms of the lore and the backstory of this place, it's a little unclear because we can't actually experience the questing in Spires of Arak just yet as Horde or Alliance because it's not active.
Yeah.
And until you experience that, you don't really know what's going on in this place. I mean, you can sort of guess they're bad guys and you need to kill them.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to go with today. They're bad
much.
guys and let's go fuck them up because it is a bit shrouded at the moment. So it doesn't really matter. We'll just go straight into the instance. So as soon as you zone in, Lawrence, you find yourself on a beautiful bird flying around the outside of the instance, like getting to see the whole zone and like seeing through the windows of the instance, seeing what's like up ahead. I don't know about you, but all these new 5-mans, they're like really impressing me with their little intros into them. Like,
it's a change.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's just something new. A new way of looking at an instance instead of just zoning in.
Yeah, so you plonk yourself down and you get to see the first bit of trash. And all of the trash in this instance is really difficult in comparison to the other instances.
It's brutal as fuck.
Yeah.
So all the trash in here pretty much will constantly stun you, will constantly cyclone you, will do AoE damage, will blind your healers, will blind your tanks, will heal each other. It's just the whole place is nasty as fuck. That's why we have 3 frost mages.
Yeah, 3 frost mages at the moment are like pretty much OP as hell. So they're kind of carrying us. But yeah, this trash is really, really difficult. But once you get through that trash, you go on to the first boss, Ranjit of the Four Winds. Master of the Four Winds he is. And this boss, although made looking a bit simple, it gets pretty cool. It gets really cool because he starts throwing out these walls of blades that start spinning around, and it's so good. And it gets even better. He's sending out loads of different blades, and like if you get hit by them, you get a horrible dot on you and all that kind of stuff. So the healer has to be quite careful with all of that. But his main ability, which is Four Winds, it's just the best thing in the game. It's just the best. Just 10 out of 10. We're done. Like, it's so good. It reminds me of Hallion, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we kill this boss pretty quick, but it does actually get to the point, if you do have slow DPS, that you just have so many blades up, you feel like you're moving almost constantly.
Yeah. But otherwise, he hasn't really got that many other mechanics.
That's literally pretty much all he does. He just does that, those 2 blades, and does a bit of tank damage.
Yeah, it's beautiful, though. I can't
it's
complain.
very clever. I love the way it's done.
It is very, very cool. So once you do finish him off, you actually get to a point where you get to choose either right or left. It does like go back together, but if you pull both packs, you're pretty much guaranteed to die because they're just so horrible.
Yeah, at any point in this instance, you can actually be thrown off the side. That's probably quite important to point out. There is no invisible walls, and this trash does have knockback effects, so...
Yeah, I've learned that the hard way quite a few times. But going into the second boss room for Arachnath, you actually fight like a little starter ad at the beginning before pulling him. But just to appreciate the room for the second, like it's got this giant construct in the middle of all these lines going towards him. It's really, really nice looking, if you ask me. It's a very, very cool place. But once you finish off the ad at the beginning, the boss does spawn. And this boss, although looking like a badass, and you're like, oh, what's he going to throw at us in this like amazing room? Nothing really. Just a lot of damage, which is a bit disappointing. One of his main mechanics is it's like a slam for the tank, and he'll either throw down his right or his left arm, and you just got to sidestep it in order to avoid the shockwave. To be honest, you can stand it and you should be all right. But
which is what I did.
Yeah, which is what you did. But he does an ability called Burst, and this is kind of like your pseudo enrage ability. It does like an AoE like for the whole group. But the thing is, every time he does a burst, his next burst will hit harder and then harder, and it keeps stacking up and up and up and up until eventually it'll just one-shot you. And there is quite a lot of other damage going out through his other ability, which is it's like called Energize. Now what this does, an ad at the side will start channeling towards the boss, and it will start healing him up for like 2% every second. So it's a really, really quick heal. However, if you stand in it, you will intercept it and he won't get healed. However, you take 10k ticking damage every second. Yeah. So it hurts quite a lot, especially for like level 97s on normal mode. There's like quite a lot of damage going out.
Yeah, this instance is pretty nasty.
Yeah, this
in terms of boss damage, but this one in particular does do a lot of damage. But I mean, you can rotate your raid members like we just did there, so different people do get inside the beam. It was a lot easier when we reran the instance with frost mages because they're OP as shit right now.
Yeah,
but Yeah, the boss's mechanics are maybe a little uninspired, and we've probably seen them elsewhere. Well, we have seen them elsewhere before. Nevertheless, he's not a terrible five-man boss.
Like an interesting thing is that you can actually kill the ads around the outside that do the channeled beam. However, it seems they have far too much health that by the time you've killed them, like...
You might as well just stay on the boss.
Exactly. So there's no real point in killing the ads because there's always an ad to replace it. But that's that boss. In the end, you do go on to the next area, and this set of trash, once again, is fucking horrible.
Yeah, so these birds will fixate random targets. If they like fixate individual targets each, so completely different targets, it's fine, but they can all target one person.
Yeah.
If that one person gets targeted, he's dead.
Yeah, you need to CC them and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty nasty, so it's something to think about. But this is the third boss, which is Rukhmar?
Probably.
Something like that. Either way, it's a giant fucking bird. And he has only got like maybe 2 or 3 mechanics, but his first mechanic that you'll mainly see is this like solar flare, which is like a little...
It's just a little ad that he spawns out of an egg.
And what it does, it will follow a player, and if it reaches the player, it will explode and do like a fair amount of AoE damage within a certain radius. And once it dies, it also will explode. So really, you want to kill it at range so it won't explode on you. But the thing is, they do move really slowly, and if you have got a very mobile like range team, you could probably just kite them. But they can actually fixate on the tank as well, and the tank does have to stay in melee range, otherwise the boss goes absolutely fucking nuts. Another thing the tank needs to worry about is something called Pierce Armor. Now, this is an ability that it will do like maybe every 4 or 5 seconds. He does it once its energy is full, and basically it will just hit the tank and put a debuff on him, which makes it so the next time he gets hit by Pierce Armor, it hurts even more. But the tank can avoid the debuff by using active mitigation, which is a mechanic we haven't actually seen in a 5-man yet.
Yeah, that's not something that you'd usually have to do in a 5-man. We've seen it in raids, we've seen it in Siege of Rukhmar, but yeah, I think it's really, really clever that they're forcing tanks to use this in this 5-man, and obviously in challenge modes, it's probably going to be something that you have to do.
Yeah, because if you just constantly keep taking these over and over again, you'll probably just end up being one shot at some point, like even with the best healer in the world. So it's something that you do need to worry about, but otherwise, you just kind of kiting the solar flares around, getting exploded on just there, taking a ton of damage. Apparently, like, the ashes they leave on the floor, if a bird explodes near those ashes, it will revive that bird as well. So you can't actually all kill them in a single place, but I didn't actually find that to be a problem when I ran it. I don't know about you. I found it to be fairly simple, really. And of course, he does drop this giant compassy, like sort of thing on the floor.
Box,
yeah, it despawns.
Yeah, contains nothing.
Yeah, at the moment,
sadly,
it being beta and all that.
So after you've killed the boss, you now need to make your way towards the next area, and you have to do that by running through these winds.
Yeah,
and these winds, just these winds, really.
They slow you down, they push you in the opposite direction, they can push you off the side. If you try and cut across by just running, you'll be pushed out. And you've got all these birds flying in towards you. In all fairness, they're quite easy to deal with.
The birds don't do any damage. I mean, you can pretty much just eat them. I kind of like this, but I kind of don't. Having to like do this if you wipe on like the next few sets of trash, which is entirely possible, or on the bosses, which is entirely possible. Having to run through that every single time as a class that doesn't have a movement speed increase or a blink.
Yeah, you can like heroic leap over it and stuff.
Like, it just sucks.
Yeah, but I imagine you'll be able to turn that off. At the moment, there's no way of doing so just yet. And as much as we've been talking about, oh, this trash is so hard, where, this is actually the hardest trash in here, flat out.
Yeah, this is harder than any like boss in here, I'd say.
But the thing is, all of this is CCable, but we could fuck that. This is a 5-man.
We could actually CC this stuff.
I think it's intended that you do, because there's so much going out and people are getting like so destroyed. There's like knockback, there's giant AoE on the floor, you're getting banished still, they're healing each other, they're dispelling each other. There's so much going on. I did wipe on this trash before, and we did actually have to CC it in order to get through it. It was just too much. We just couldn't handle it. So
we just frost maged it.
Yeah, well, you frost maged it. So yeah, it looks like CC is definitely making a comeback in these instances. They're trying to like promote you to do it by making very difficult trash packs. Now, I am actually highlighting this like kind of, he is just a bit of trash. He isn't really a boss, but I thought it was quite neat that all of his arms has separate health pools, and it kind of like goes all together. So if you damage one arm loads, it all like shared. Yeah, so I think it's quite neat anyway. I was really confused. I thought it was like 5 mobs in one with all of the things broken, but yeah, it's pretty neat. And he's not very difficult. He doesn't really do a lot. He's kind of take him down. It would be nice maybe to see him have a couple more mechanics, like as a little mini boss before the last boss.
Yeah.
Because in all the other trash is so hard, dealing with this guy's like nothing really. But, oh well, I suppose that's just what it is.
So now we move on to the last boss after you've killed that fella. And the last boss's name is Sage Viryx. Now, this guy is basically a mix between the Lich King and Siegecrafter, I'd say. The mechanics are kind of similar to those two encounters. The main one from Lich King being these Valks that spawn and will start dragging you off the edge of the platform.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. They pick you up and start flying towards the edge. These can be stunned. I'm not sure if necessarily they can be slowed, but they can definitely be stunned.
Yeah, they can be slowed.
Yeah, so and you can actually damage them while you're in it. You can keep casting and things like that. But one very interesting thing about the Valks is that they can actually drag you through the wall.
Yeah, they're a little bit buggy, so here I was here, and I got dragged through the wall, so the rest of the raid team can't target him.
Yeah, a bit of a line of sight issue there, Blizz. I thought it was very funny, though. I don't know how they, like, I guess they'll have to make it go in a different direction or something when you're standing in that position, but it's pretty interesting.
And you can see here that here they just throw you off. And the idea is that you fall to your death, but because of the angle we was at, I just sort of land on this platform and stay alive.
The rest of the group wiped though.
Yeah.
So you got to be a bit careful with that. But another thing that happens, another ad does spawn, and this all it does is just shield the boss. It does melee hit as well, so it has got an aggro table, so you do have to pick it up. And all it'll do is do a channeled shield on the boss that makes it so the boss takes 99% reduced damage. So just interrupt it and kill the ad.
Kill the ad as soon as you possibly can. It's like the most important thing. And the last mechanic that's going on in the fight is this fire that will chase down the target that it is on. And the fire, it lasts throughout the entire fight. So it's very, very important that you do place the fire in areas where you're generally not going to stand and where Valks generally aren't going to be and pick you up. Because especially if you have melee in your group and the Valk's kiting you through fire, then the melee will have to stand in the fire to actually kill the Valk. So it's very, very important that you keep the fire spread out as much as you can. But as you can see towards the end of the fight, there is a lot of fire about.
And this is with a group, of course, with fairly high DPS as well. So this boss is actually probably harder than the second boss in terms of actual damage and everything. Actually, but it's definitely a hell of a lot cooler. There's so much going on. And like you got to remember, this is like on a normal mode. So there's like there's potential for even more mechanics afterwards. And I have no idea what's going to go on with that. So it should be really, really good. But overall, this instance, what would you rate it? I think it's really nice.
I really like this instance, and I really like the bosses. I'd say that the trash is OP as fuck, unless it's deliberately OP as fuck, in which case, then I really like that idea, but they're going to have to buff other instances, otherwise it sort of makes no sense.
Yeah, like this is the instance with hard trash.
Yeah, it feels completely unbalanced towards the other 5 mans we've experienced and shown on our channel so far. But yeah, I love the instance, and I hope they keep the trash the way it is. I think CC's a good mechanic. Yeah. I think it makes it fun. But who knows, we'll have to see.
So thank you very much for watching, guys. If you did enjoy the video, then do give us a like. And of course, we will see you on the live stream.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.